secretive that he doesn't let, and I've said this to him, that he doesn't let his personality out enough because he's not a bad guy. He's really not. And a lot of things about him are depicted are wrong. I've said that, and I've been cast as being easy on him, and I have been, because sometimes I think a lot of the criticism, first of all, it's urban legend stuff because they don't know him. They've never met him. Most of the people who comment on him have never been in his company or spent 2 minutes with him. So he's always the bad guy. He's the bad guy because he's the rich guy who owns the toys and is the billionaire. That guy's always going to be the bad guy because to everybody else, oh, he's the rich billionaire who always gets his way and always, bullies everybody. And that's how everybody thinks of every billionaire unless they're smart enough to have a deft touch. I'll give you Warren Buffett as an example. Here's one of the richest 2 or 3 men in the world, as powerful as any man in the world, and he is beloved. Why? Because he acts like he owns a Sunoco station on the corner of Maine and Lincoln in Omaha, Nebraska, rather than the fact that he is, courted by world leaders and called by, U.S. presidents when there's a financial problem, asking him if he could help. He carries that power around very gently, very deftly, rather than overpower everybody with it. A billionaire is going to get his way because he's a billionaire. That's just the way it is, because he plays in his own playground. He plays in what he owns. He rules what he owns. And he's going to get his way in that regard. There's only his way. There's not anybody else's way. You own the team. You own the business. You're the boss. That's the way it works. But I would have thought after the apology that rather than rub FAN's nose in it, which is what they did today, and make, FAN only apologized because we were going to shut down. They asked for special favors. First of all, if any other show asked for a special favor, I don't know about it. I asked if anybody did. I was told they didn't, but I don't know what the other shows do. I never asked for anything. I don't need anybody from the Garden to help me do my show. I don't have to have their guests. I have great respect for the Garden. I think it's one of the great buildings in the world. I love a lot of the people there. They do a great job. It's one of the best run buildings in the world. Radio City, which they own, is the best run building I've ever been in. I did a show there. It was the most professional people I ever worked with in my whole life. I love the Beacon, tremendous building. Their buildings that they run, I've been in them in other parts of the country, tremendously run. They are a smart, well-run business. They've had trouble with their teams. Some of it's luck of the draw, some of it's the way it goes. But, he's, again, been dragged through the mud for things he didn't deserve. He doesn't overpower his teams from basketball knowledge stuff. That's all nonsense. Problem is, it hasn't worked out. Sometimes you bring in the right guy. Hey, you brought in Phil Jackson. Everyone begged him to. They gave him a standing ovation. He screwed the whole thing up. It happens. That's on the court. That's fair game. The personal stuff, whether it's fair game or not, that depends if you know somebody. I always think, why attack somebody personally if you've never met them? How do you know what they really are like? And most of the time, it's not what they're like. Now, you don't get to meet them a lot of times, and most show hosts don't get to. You have to be here a long time and be lucky enough to have been in a certain position if you're going to meet owners. And I've been around long enough to know most of the owners. I don't know. I don't hang out with it I don't hang out with any of the owners, but I know most of them. And I can talk to most of them, pick up the phone and call most of them. Woody won't talk to me, but that's okay. There's no loss. He's got nothing to say anyway. But the point is that, you know what? This is just dumb. What was said was over the top. It should have been corrected right away. It wasn't. That was a mistake. But they finally apologized. And if they apologized because he threatened the intercom business, well, fine. They took the heat. He threatened them for a reason. He wanted a reaction. He got a reaction. He got an apology, and then he rubbed their nose in it. That was dumb. That was stupid, and they said things that weren't true. So now they escalated the war for no reason. It's just stupid. So the PR people there, rethink your position. Your position is not to ratchet him up. It's to walk him back if he's angry, and he doesn't have a temper. And he was wronged in this spot. He absolutely was. He had a right to be angry. And he had a right to get an apology. And he finally got one, and what did he do? He rubbed their nose in the dirt when he got one. So now, rather than anything be settled, it's ratcheted up, or it will be ratcheted up, which is just dumb. And I'll tell you, it's been an ugly 14, 15 months for FAN, and I feel bad about that. I really do. Now, some of it, a lot of it has nothing to do with me. And if any of it does, like me coming back, if that was part of it, you know, internally it probably was, because I think I upset the schedule and upset the apple cart. You know, maybe that was the wrong idea. Maybe it wasn't right, you know. Maybe coming back was, you know, I knew it was going to be uncomfortable. Maybe it was more uncomfortable than I thought. Probably has been. It's been successful. We've done what we had to do. I think from a business standpoint, they're thrilled, but still it's not the most comfortable thing. And we haven't even come to a deal yet, which makes me think that maybe the app and the show don't work together, and that's something we're going to have to adjust one way or the other. You know, we'll have to wait and see about that, because we still don't have a deal. So maybe it's not the right, maybe the app and this show can't work together. Maybe that's possible. And if it is, we'll adjust one. But I was annoyed by this today, because some things were said that weren't true in there, which is always the case when people ratchet it up. And instead of just taking the apology, which would have been the gracious and the smart thing to do, they did the dumb thing. Maybe they want to rethink that back after this.